Hello and welcome to another episode of All Elite Arcade. It is a Tuesday morning, afternoon, night. Actually, it could be a different day, but this is when they're posted. Tuesdays now is the new day for AW Games, where we talk about video games. Myself, Evil Uno, and of course my good friend the Chugs here this week. Chugs, we talk about this off air all the time, but there is no way we'll ever play every video game in the world, and this is one of those weeks where I definitely felt its impact because a lot of things came out this week.
Dude, not a chance. And we'll get into the state of play and the Silent Hill showcase and things like that when we do get to the news portion of our show. But I said this because I actually ended up live streaming the entire thing, and I watched it a day later. Unfortunately, wasn't spoiled. But in addition to the incredible year we've had, in addition to what an incredible year and beyond we have to look forward to, I really do feel this way. And I know I sound like a broken record. It's just my love for gaming is just so through the roof right now. We will look back at this time and say that as a consumer of video games, as a gamer, this is a golden age we're living in.
Absolutely.
Like, it's unbelievable the amount of remakes and remasters we're getting, new IPs, incredible consoles. You can really play so many different incredible games to the point where, like you said, it's a backlog that will never end. I guess it's a good problem to have, but it will never end.
This week alone, there was, and even this is not even the strongest week we've had to live through in the last 2 years. But this week alone, there was at least like 5 titles that came out that would demand 100 hours of my time each. And I just have to, at some point, accept that maybe I will not play every good game that comes out. It's just not possible.
It's really not. It's really, really not. But man. So I don't know about you, Uno, but I had a pretty good week of gaming this week.
I did, for sure. Tell me what you've been playing, Chugs.
Sure. Yeah. So again, I start this off every single week on this beautiful Tuesday with the All Elite Arcade podcast. I start every morning with Pokemon trading card game Pocket. I will show card of the week this week, which is very exciting. Actually, I think this is one of the most beautiful cards I pulled recently. This being this Ninetales EX card, which I just love the colors. And this is there are multiple 2-star cards. 2-star cards are on the rarer side, but there's 2-star cards, and then there's 2-star alternative art cards, and that's an alternative art one with like a rainbow casing around it, kind of. But just some of the coolest art ever as far as those cards go. Right now, there is a special promo going on where you do these battles against this specific pack, and then you try to get these promo cards, these 5 special promo cards that do eventually go away. I did manage to collect all 5. That was this morning, so now I don't have to worry about never getting the chance to get those cards again. But yeah, Pokemon trading card game Pocket, my favorite mobile game probably of all time. Love it so much. Speaking of one of my favorite games, I of course am streaming some post-game side content / DLC of Clair Obscur Expedition 33. Well, you guessed it, I am still on this, and minor spoilers for Expedition 33. I am still on this super boss fight against Simon, who is just one of the most difficult bosses. Definitely the most difficult boss I've faced in Expedition 33, and probably one of the most difficult bosses I've faced, certainly on stream. But I do have good news. Again, unfortunately, I have not beaten him. But the last time we did this podcast, I would get to the second phase, Uno, and I'm not kidding. I maybe moved his health bar just a smidge. And then after that, he would end up killing me. I would make no progress at all. So I think I mentioned this last time, but I did go back and maybe get some Pictos and try to put myself in situations where I could live for longer so I could learn the patterns. It may not seem like a victory, but this is a big victory, Uno. I was able to get second phase Simon halfway down. I got about half his health, which is a massive improvement from where I was last time.
And that's so like a 20-minute battle, by the way, because I popped in on Twitch during this time, and like 5 minutes into round 1, I got a call, walked away, and when I came back 20 minutes later, you had just gotten defeated by phase 2. This is a hard-ass boss.
It is a very, very hard boss. Really, really tough. And again, what makes me nervous, because I've avoided spoilers, I am praying to the video game gods that this this boss does not have a third phase. If
Yeah,
it does,
so-
I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna do. But no, I'm ready. It's again, this boss fight is one of the coolest bosses I've played against in a turn-based RPG. Really, really cool. And you know what? This reminds me of that how it felt the first time I fought Ruby Weapon or Emerald Weapon in Final Fantasy VII, where the first time I encountered those bosses, I'm like, oh, this is impossible. Like, I'm never going to be able to do this. Not a chance. It took me years later, when I had become an adult and was playing through FF7 again, and I still died so many different times. But when you eventually kind of figure out the puzzle of that boss and you're able to do it, it's such a rewarding, amazing feeling. So I'm still in the process of trying to figure out the puzzle that is the super boss known as Simon in Expedition 33. But again, hopefully next week or the week after that, I'll be able to say that I finally toppled this super boss in Expedition 33. And truth be told, Uno, I've even thought about this. I don't want to necessarily walk away from the boss fight yet, but I do want to make sure I try this DLC. I haven't even jumped into the DLC at all yet, because Resident Evil Requiem comes out February 27th, and I'm going to start streaming that.
You got 2 weeks to go, so
I got 2 weeks. I gotta make some moves. But it was not a victory. We were actually talking about this before on our podcast about like getting frustrated and stuff and celebrating small victories. That was me celebrating a small victory this week. Is getting half that health bar down compared to not even be able to put a dent in his health bar. That's a small victory, and that's a big improvement. So the Simon progress is coming along pretty nicely. But I also mentioned that I am playing in my downtime Hades 2, my first real experience of diving into an incredible roguelike game. And I think it's safe to say, Uno, that I am just a few runs away from rolling credits in Hades 2, which has me very, very excited. So I've gotten to a point now, once again, what is so awesome, minor mechanical spoilers of Hades 2, for those of you who don't know, but what's so cool about Hades 2 is there's a path to go down and there's a path to go up. The path to go up, for me, was certainly more difficult, but I've gotten to a point where I've beaten the final boss on the down path enough times to where it's progressed the story enough to where now I'm going up that path, and I was really stuck on the final boss on the top path for a while, but I did manage to defeat that boss multiple times, which is very, very exciting. And I'm definitely at a point now where I feel like the end is in sight. I know you had said there's a ton of stuff to do after the credits roll, but right now my goal is to get the credits to roll for Hades 2, and I'm really excited about that. Just a thing I wanted to mention that I'm continuing to notice more and more, just two small things in regards to Hades 2. Number one, I know we talked about how organically the lore kind of unfolds and how amazing the music is in that game and how amazing all the dialogue and interaction is in that game. You know what else I love about Hades 2? And you probably feel the exact same way, but all these seemingly pointless things that you can do to make the game feel more alive. Oh, yeah. Like I know it's the example of like being able to salute to all of the NPCs that you interact with, all the
animals.
Characters.
Yeah.
Every single animal. The fact that you can start singing, like that Moonlight Guide Us song is just is so pretty. The fact that you can just jump into singing a song, but I don't think it does anything as far as progressing the relationships with these characters, or it doesn't move the story along in any way, but it just makes it feel so much more alive. I think that's part of the reason, because after our conversation last week on this podcast, I was thinking more and more about why this game is so special. And I think having mechanics like that, it's the example of when you hear like, and you're playing a game, it's like, oh, can I pet the dog? It's like that's kind of what it feels like in a lot of ways,
like
where it's just
amount of attention on every single interaction, essentially.
Every that's the other thing that's interesting too, is when you salute to all these different characters, it never feels like you're just repeating the same thing. Every salute like feels just a little bit different vibe wise and dialogue wise. So again, Hades 2 is so brilliant, so awesome. But secondly, when I was going on the top phase to beat the final boss on the top phase, man, I was feeling good, real confident. I had my keepsakes that I was running. I was using the sister blades, and I was getting to a point where like 3 runs in a row, I was able to beat that final boss. But the game really did remind me that depending on the boons you get, absolutely makes a huge difference. Because I got to a point where I thought like, okay, I'm going to hit credits today. I'm just going to run through, I'm going to beat the final boss every single time. But I had one run where I had some boons that I wasn't super crazy about, and I didn't feel as powerful or as strong. I had died a couple of times before then. So it is really cool as well that I guess the RNG aspects of it, where you're like hoping to get certain boons to become strong enough. You hope that you get epic ones, or in some cases heroic ones where you're even stronger. So I appreciate that it really does matter, especially on what your play style is. How effective you are on your runs. But it's also cool that because it's random, it forces you to experiment and mess around with maybe different boons that you didn't normally have. But
and oftentimes you don't even know like the synergies that you could pull off if you're not like I when I started playing this game, I would always go for the same 2-3 gods because I understood like lightning is good and I liked Poseidon's like extending the reach of splash with stuff. But then eventually you realize like, oh, I could start charming people, and then I could use the charm and make them stronger. And there's like so many ways to approach this that until you are met with not the choices you want, it's the only time you start experimenting, and then eventually you will find like new synergies. It doesn't always work, but when it does, it is an incredible feeling to finally like find two boons that work together in that game.
Exactly. Oh, and definitely too, like I, for example, I really enjoy the scenario of like when my quick attack is fire and flame, and then I love when my strong attack is frost, to like freeze the enemies in place, and then to be able to do fire damage on top of it. That sometimes you can get duo boons where it's like if the character's frozen and then gets hit with scorch, it just does a massive amount of damage at one time, so you can really stack your damage there. Like you said, there's so many different ways you can go about it. Or even the scenario of when you're in some areas of the map and there's like oil on the floor and I'm sprinting, and at one point I had scorch on my sprint, and that was a giant mistake because I just started burning myself as I was running through the oil. But it's so cool. The game is so awesome, and I'm really excited to see what the finale of this game is going to look like. Hopefully next week I will be able to say that I've beaten Hades 2, and that would be my 4th game of 2026 to beat. I beat 3 games in January, so I got to start moving here in February and beat some more games. But also, I did get to try 2 brand new titles this week, which I was really, really excited about. One of them I got to play on my Rogue Xbox Ally X. One of them I got to play on my PC. When I get into both of these, honestly, I probably should have swapped the 2 as far as where I played them, but I wasn't home, so it was a situation where I kind of had to play it this way. But one of those game I was really looking forward to is Reanimal, the new dark, scary 3D puzzle platformer game that just has a vibe and atmosphere unlike any other game. This is from the people who made Little Nightmares 1 and 2, and it very much has the same type of energy that a Little Nightmares does. So I've only put about an hour and a half into this game, and from what I hear, it's actually not a very long game, but I've already seen a lot. This game is so creepy. Like the music is so good. There's so many like grotesque looking enemies and environments. What else I appreciate in the little bit that I played this game is there are so many secrets, dude. Like,
oh, really?
So many. There were so many times where you're in this big open area and the game is kind of directing you to go somewhere, but it's like, it looks like I could go over here maybe and go around this corner, and then you go around that corner and there's like a crack in the wall, and then you go underneath and there's this whole creepy looking room. So one of the things that they do in addition to collecting concept art, which is really cool, you can also collect different masks that the characters can wear. So lots of times the secrets that you find will be these cool different masks, but lots of times they're in really, really creepy environments. And actually, that's kind of what I love so much about this style of game is so much of its storytelling is done with environmental storytelling. Like you just kind of have to use your imagination and kind of think about what's going on here and what's going on. So Reanimal so far has been excellent. Everything that I wanted this game to be, it's been awesome. It ran really great as well. So I will definitely, that's another game I might finish. Hopefully we'll finish this week before I jump in. There's also voice acting in this as well, which is really cool. Just a little bit of voice acting.
I played the demo back in October, and they showed no voice acting in what I had seen at all. So that's interesting. I didn't know there was even like talking involved in it.
Right. Yeah, because I'm in Little Nightmares 1 and 2, I don't think there was virtually any voice acting at all. So this is cool. It's a very cool game. I was hoping it was going to give off the vibe. I hadn't played the demo yet at all. I was waiting for the full release. Really enjoying it. Really, really enjoying it. And last but not least, I did get the chance. Fortunately enough, this is actually for both of us, which is really cool. But Xbox was kind enough to send us some early access codes to High on Life 2, which I had really, really wanted to try. Because I had played High on Life 1 and really liked it. I only got to play High on Life 2 for, again, about an hour and a half. I was just able to do the prologue. I did play it on my Xbox Ally X, and I did eventually get it running pretty well, but this was the first time where actually out of the box, the settings that there were, it was absolutely playable. It was a smooth 60 frames per second, but some of the assets were kind of having trouble. Again, I honestly should have probably played this on my PC or Xbox Series X, but it does run, especially after I tinkered a little bit, got everything on medium settings. No issues at all there as far as performance. But man, it just a couple of things. Again, all I did was go through and play the prologue. I won't go into detail for anyone who wants to experience it themselves, but the intro itself is a riot. I think it was like such a creative way to open that game, which was really cool. And man, I said this to you before we started the podcast today. I think High on Life 2 is even funnier than the first one.
From the little bit I got to play, I also, much like you, had only played the prologue, but in the 1 hour, they establish everything, they set up the story, they bring back every character that you might know from the first game. Because I played the entirety of the first game and I really liked it. They establish your weapons, because the thing about High on Life is that it has incredible voice actors that voice act every single gun that you have.
Incredible.
In the first game, it was quite funny, but it was also situationally funny because you were learning, like, you're meeting a new voice actor, so you're getting like a bunch of voice lines out of this one. This one is like, in this 1 hour, they fire so much comedic content within 1 hour. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah, they really, really did. And also, too, so many of these funny moments were things that you could miss. Like you really, as you're going through this area, sometimes you're forced to kind of go into a dialogue section. But there were multiple times where I ran up and found some characters who were behind a wall or a door, and there's this full-blown dialogue going on, which is just absolutely hysterical. Also, you're rewarded often for sticking around longer and like continuing to talk to these characters. Seriously, if you thought High on Life 1 was funny, you're going to think this one's hilarious. It was so fun. And also the movement felt really good. I love the skateboard mechanic now, which is really cool for you to be able to whip around the map a lot faster. I'm really enjoying it so far. I'm having a lot of fun with it. And again, it is now that I tweaked it a little bit, it's running really good on the Xbox Ally X, which is nice. So yeah, that was my week video game experience. And Uno, I know you were saying you did play on High on Life 2 as well.
I'll take over from here. But my experience was very similar to yours. Funnily enough, I played this on my PC. I don't have a ROG Ally yet, but a very similar experience, because out of the box, I played it at 4K max settings. That is what it was defined as. So, there are certain games that evaluate your computer, and then they spit at you like a default to what your specs are. This one just had an out-of-the-box default, and it did not run properly on my computer whatsoever. So it was a little bit of fine tweaking. I found that because you can go all the way to 240 frames per second, and I saw that that was just going to be quasi impossible with the computer I had now. It's a surprisingly demanding beast of a video game.
It is. Yeah, it's a very pretty game, but you're right. It is definitely demanding.
Yeah, I think it was like 90 gigs on my through Xbox on my PC. And so
Yeah.
Once I fine-tuned that stuff and I got it running at 60 frames, 1080, and that to me was plenty. That is just fine with what I like. And I enjoyed it. It's quite colorful.
Yeah.
Mechanically, it's not like a precise shooter, but it's a fun shooter. Like you said, I also love the new mechanic with the skateboarding. It makes things much cooler. There's actually like ramps and half pipes that you can utilize. But if anyone goes out and plays this, my big point of advice is the same one that Chugs said. Exhaust the option to talk with people, because if you keep spamming them, it's kind of much like Hades. It's incredible the amount of voice dialogue they set up, because there's quite a few parts where I knew if I didn't interact with someone, I couldn't continue the game. So I would forcibly not do what they would want, and they anticipate it. And so like what would be a 15-second cutscene became a 8-minute cutscene of just one character just being like trying to kill time, knowing very well that you needed to do an action. It makes for some very interesting video game play, especially when you're thinking about like the voice acting involved in it. I've enjoyed what I've played of High on Life 2 as of yet, and I definitely will be coming back to it. Hopefully they'll optimize it a little bit too. It just came out. I played it in early access as well, so it might have been optimized since then as well. But I'm enjoying it. Available on Xbox and on PC right now.
Yeah.
But I also got to play a handful of games. I will go back and I will mention there's a brand new game that I teased last week, and I will definitely talk about it. But I do want to tell you about my ventures in the previous games I had talked about. So I finished Penelope Pendrick. That was the first-person point-and-click game that was Nancy Drew style. I will say it did lend itself to being very much like the 90s point-and-click games, because by the end of that game, I just had a walkthrough open, and I was like, I can't do this anymore. I don't know where to go anymore. So I did have to do a walkthrough to complete it, but that is kind of like my experience with old point-and-click games. They are so obtuse. There you go. Obtuse with their hints at how you're supposed to do things, that if you miss it, you're screwed. And so I ended up completing that. I was very happy with it. Very, very fun game. Will not complain about having to cheat a little bit to complete it. It was a good time. I also continued playing Cairn. Cairn, that is how you say that. Cairn. I've been corrected enough times now. Cairn, it's a real word. And I'm enjoying that. I played another 4 hours. It is still leaning into that thing I was talking about last time, where the voice messages are. I'm getting a very interesting slice of life about this one character that like we're exploring some like emotional paths right now, which I think is very interesting. But mechanically, as a video game, I have hit a literal wall, because I have to climb one, where I cannot get any higher. And I know I have to, but I don't know if I have to go back down to choose a new route, because the route that I cornered myself in, I don't think I can achieve. But I'm going to keep tackling it. I'm going to keep trying and trying and trying, because it's not meant to be an impossible game. I'm sure I could even tone down the difficulty and pull it off if I wanted to, but I'm a little too hard-headed. But I will complete that game. I still think I'm so far away from the end of it, though. I think I'm maybe halfway.
Halfway?
Yes. Yeah, because
God.
The good thing, too, is like when you get back to the menu, it shows you the path you've taken on the mountain. And if that indication of like the full length of the mountain is like accurate, then I'm maybe almost halfway. Maybe. And you know it's only going to get more difficult, so that last half is going to get more difficult for sure. So I played all of those, but the big heavy hitter that I got to play this week is the new game by Edmund McMillen, who made Super Meat Boy, who made Binding of Isaac, and that is called Mugenics.
Yes.
This came out on Friday of last week. We did our podcast. Oh, no, sorry. This came out on Tuesday this week. We did our podcast last Friday. I was so excited to play it. I will tell you, we're recording this on a Friday. I have, in 3 days, 37 hours into Mewgenics.
Go, dude.
I am so addicted. It's a run-based roguelike game where essentially you run a house where you pick up strays of cats. You give those cats RPG style classes. It could be a druid, a mage. There's obviously like you've got a warrior fighter class, you've got a tank class, so on and so forth, and you assign those things. And what makes this game different is it is a run base. Whatever you meet on its run is always different and randomized. Obviously, it's sectioned to different sections. But what's so unique about it is that if you are to complete a full run, your cats will come back to the house, and they are now retired, but they can give birth to new cats. Right, to the next generation of cats. So if you like, let's say your party of 4 comes back, and then you pick up new strays. One stray might mingle with one of your cats that is retired. Well, that retired one has better stats, has better spells, has more stuff. So the child might inherit some of those spells for the next run and those stats. And so you're creating the next generation of cat that is even stronger, and so on. That is like a very simplified explanation of what it is, but essentially you are breeding these cats, you're making stronger teams, and then you, instead of a over-the-top third-person action game like Binding of Isaac was, this is a tactics-based game, so it's a grid-based, turn-based attack game that, if we're talking about synergies, like we were talking about Hades 2, Binding of Isaac was one of those games that like you needed to synergize your weapon with your passives that to at some point be essentially one of the strongest character you can make to get to the very end of this game, because it ramps up in difficulty like crazy. This is exactly the same, but for a tactics game. It's all about the synergies. If you pick an item, or you pick, because every character levels up, gets new skills, gets new spells, gets new stats. If you don't fine tune to what your cat's specific gameplay style is, you can't maximize it and you can't get it to the very end. And so I've been playing so much of this. It's insane. And I truthfully, I'll tell you right now, I would be pleasantly surprised if there are 10 games this year that I will like more than this, because this is my type of game. This is my type of thing that I keep going back to. And I think a lot of people really enjoy it. I will say it's a little crass in its comedy. In fact, it is so crass that there are options to make it PG within the settings. And I would recommend it if you Twitch stream, because you will lose your channel otherwise. Not from experience. I did Twitch stream this. I did go in my settings right away, because when I played this, I was like, I could never, there's no way we could show this to children. So heads up, go play this game. It's incredible. It is incredible. It's in 3 hours since it came out. It had a 8 or 9 year development cycle. In 3 hours, they made their money back on the video game. It's exceeding every bit of praise that they were anticipating from it. It's getting 9 and 10s across. It's making its money's worth. In 6 hours, it's sold over 150 copies on Steam. It's only available on one platform right now. Go try this game. I will say finally, because on top of all of this stuff, and I obviously you can tell how excited I'm about this, it has one of the greatest soundtracks I have ever played.
Ooh.
Yeah, you are, okay, if you get to play this, Chugs, not only
I really want to.
Okay, your minute-to-minute music is incredible, but I think what they've done with this is it has like a comedic factor to it, because obviously it has like very crass humor. The art style is very like comedic and lends itself to comedy as well. The music is played entirely serious until when you get to a boss fight, it gets lyrics, and they're comedic lyrics too. I have been singing the songs from this game while going to bed. I've woken up thinking about this game already. I'm addicted. To Mugenics. It's an incredible game, and I'm very excited for more people to play it as well.
Uno, every single person that I've heard talk about this game just can't stop raving about it.
Oh, yeah.
So as far as word of mouth goes, I know the game has been very successful already immediately, but for people who haven't played it yet, dude, it just makes me want to play it so bad. I seriously, I'm definitely going to play this.
It's a good follow-up. If you're coming out of Hades, this will be different enough, but you understand mechanically how these things work now.
But also a new genre that I don't have a ton of experience with, because like you said, it's like a real-time strategy almost.
It is.
Yeah.
And it trickles you out too. It's not like in Hades, you have to get to the boss right away. In this one, it slowly unlocks the further paths, so you can actually be successful at first a few times before they start pulling the wall at you. Because now I've hit that point where I'm like, okay, now it's quite difficult, and I don't know if I'll ever complete every run. But I think you will. I genuinely think this will be a game you will enjoy, especially following up Hades 2. And anyone that's out there listening, big stamp of approval when it comes from Evil Uno and Mewgenics. Go play it. Go check it out right now. It works on Steam Deck. It's on Steam as well. Very, very good. Congrats to Edmund McMillen and the team. Y'all did it again. But that's it for this week. That's all I played, which is a lot. So the Chugs is as well. And respectfully, that's not even all of it, because both of us ended up watching a hour-long State of Play by Sony's PlayStation. And we're going to be talking about it in our news segment right after this.
And welcome back to episode 97 of the All Elite Arcade podcast with myself and Evil Uno. Before we jump into the news, we of course have our producer quiz. Our producers were kind enough to send us 3 questions that me and Uno will have to answer. We will find out at the very end of today's episode who is the winner and who is the loser this week. Uno, is the score 4-2?
I believe it's 4-2. Yeah, you were gonna maybe catch up, and I moved ahead.
Right, because last week I was going to tie it up, but I blew it. I blew it. So Evil Uno with 4 points, me with 2 points in 2026. Uno, you ready to get this started?
Oh, I am ready.
All right. Here we go. Question 1. Before the Sega Genesis launched in the United States in 1989, approximately what percentage of the U.S. home console market was controlled by Nintendo? Is the answer A, 68%, B, 75%, C, 85%, or D, 93%?
I think both of you and I kind of understand that there's really one other or 2 other consoles that were rivaling it at this point. So it's kind of tough. I think it has to be high up. I think 93%.
Okay. I want to say 93% so bad. Mm-hmm. Because I was thinking this, but I also thought it could be 85%.
All right.
So I'm gonna go C, 85%, because I'm thinking like in television, ColecoVision, but really
the remnants of Atari at this point as well.
I know exactly the Atari 5200 or whatever. God, I want to say I'll pick it. I'm gonna pick a different answer. I'm gonna go 85% C. Uno, you go 93%
D.
Oh, Nintendo they were crushing the video game market. They literally brought it back after the crash. But yeah, that's my answer. I'm going to say C. Uno says D. Great question. Question 2. Before Sony partnered with Philips, the original PlayStation was being developed as a CD add-on for which company? A, Sega, B, Nintendo, C, Panasonic, or D, Atari?
I know the answer to this one.
Yeah.
B, Nintendo.
Yep, B, Nintendo. That is that's got to be it. That's got to be it.
Just recently they found because they think there's like under 50 of these models out there in the world, and they found recently a couple more. So
yeah, oh, that's awesome. Mm-hmm. And the whole backstory to this, and I won't drag it out or anything like that, but the whole backstory of like Nintendo was gonna work with Sony, but then they last minute changed it, and Sony was like, okay, fine, we'll make our own console, is one of the most iconic moments in gaming.
And Sony out of spite is like, all right, you want to do this? The
Sony
next 30 years.
And now here we are.
Yep.
Two of the biggest gaming publishers in the world. Okay, so both me and Uno are going B, Nintendo for that answer. And question 3, the Nintendo Entertainment System launched in the U.S. on October 18th, 1985. I didn't know that. October 18th. Wow. October 18th, 1958 was when the first video game was made. So October 18th is a big day.
Important day.
Yeah. Nintendo Entertainment System launched in the U.S. on October 18th, 1985. What were the launch titles? 0.5 points for each correct answer. Oh, baby.
Oh, okay.
Man. I'm going to go Super Mario Bros.
Yeah.
Duck Hunt, Ice Climber, and Bubble Bobble. That's gonna,
Okay.
be my guess.
I'm gonna go Super Mario Brothers, Duck Hunt,
Yep. Okay.
Ice Climbers, I think is correct. Golf, which was just called golf. Ice Hockey, which was just called ice hockey. Clue Land. And Ridge Racer, I think, was the other one.
Do you really know all? That's so impressive.
I don't know. I don't get. Hey, I don't actually know all these, but I think
Okay.
I have. I know. I think 4 of them I think are on there.
Okay, dude, great guesses. Yeah, that was those were such confident guesses too. But yeah. So we both agree on Mario Bros. And Duck Hunt. Yeah. And Ice Climber.
And Ice
We
Climbers.
both agreed on Ice Climber, and I said Bubble Bobble, and you named some more. I probably should just name more titles, but I already said my answer.
Add 2 more. Get 2 more in there.
Oh God. Soccer.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm gonna go soccer, and
there's another sport one which is not the most common sport, but I did not mention that I think is in there as well.
there is bowling. What about bowling? Is there a Nintendo bowling
I don't
game?
know. I don't know actually.
I don't know. I don't know. There could be. Yeah, these are such good questions. I don't think bowling is up there. I take that answer back. I'm gonna say soccer. And if there's a game called bowling on the NES after this,
hey, I'll give you the half point.
All right. But anyway, thank you very much to our producers. Awesome questions. This is seriously, this and the community mailbag are my 2 favorite things. I love when these questions come up. It's great to talk about video game history. Once again, we will find out the correct answers. Uno with 4 points, me with 2 points at the very end of today's All Elite Arcade podcast. But of course, we're going to jump into some news now, and it was a big news week. Uno.
Oh, damn,
big
was it ever. So not only did we're about to talk about the 1 hour state of play, but there was also a Silent Hill, what's it called?
Silent Hill Transmission,
which was attached to another of the announcements. But we're going to start with the state of play, an hour of content. And I'm talking the entire time, just trailers, little interstitials in between. There really wasn't that much fluff. Almost all games on this one. We're going to try to make it quick because there was some heavy hitters as well as some repeats from previous state of plays. But starting off, the first one they did was a sequel for Kena. Scars of Kozmura is the sequel to Bridge of Spirits. That is a game I've actually never played, but right off the bat, as soon as I saw it, I was like, I know what this game is because I have a friend who has talked to me about it a bunch. This one looks cool. It's got a bunch of gameplay. It will be coming out in 2026, and it's also coming on PS5 and PC. It's kind of like a Zelda-like video game.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. The game looked, I don't have much experience with the first one, but it did look like a massive upgrade. And I could be completely wrong, but the game looked huge and massive and beautiful. And I can't recall if the first game was that large in scale, but this one definitely looked a lot bigger, and it looked incredible. The combat looked awesome.
And they've got to be pretty confident because they opened State of Play with this too. And this is like a proper PlayStation title at this point. They also did release it on PC as well. They showed, and we already knew about this, but Ghost of Yotei Legends, that's the co-op online and also multiplayer. Well, it's all co-op. Online mode will be coming out in March. It's a free DLC that launches on March 10th. Essentially, it's a 4-player co-op mode where you fight demonic versions of the Yotei 6. I love the previous version of this multiplayer game. I'm definitely going to be playing this one as well.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, this looked great.
Death Stranding 2 is coming to PC finally on March 19th, including upscaling, more frame generation, DualSense support, and a bunch of like quality of life stuff. That's very exciting. We got to see a first time at 4Loop, which is a co-op action roguelite where up to 4 players choose a set of missions, and then they show you a probability map of those missions, and you choose your path, and in that choice of path is how you level up your characters. It looks interesting. There's actually a playtest that's going to be coming out very, very soon. It kind of looked like a Left 4 Dead game to some extent.
Yeah, this did look really cool, and I totally know what you mean with Left 4 Dead. The only small point I wanted to make is some of the mechanics in this looked really, really cool. Like I remember one time this guy took a ball and threw it at one of the enemies, and it like portal warped them to another point of the map where they have no idea where the enemy was, which it just seems like there's going to be a lot of wacky but like really cool stuff in this game. Super fun co-op game.
Yeah, it looks like one that's hard to explain, so I'm definitely going to try to get in on the that multiplayer playtest when it does come out. Capcom came swinging with the same ones because they've got a big year already. Pragmata is coming out on April 24th. We got to see a little more of that, but there's also a playable demo. Yes.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Go, please. There is a playable demo.
I was just going to say, I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry. But with Pragmata, because I've talked about this before, just once again, I'm calling it now. This game is going to be a freaking tearjerker, dude.
Oh, for sure.
I'm telling you, the piano music, those two just interacting together is just adorable. That game is going to make me bawl my eyes out, dude.
It's weird because like or rather like if you look at it visually, the character looks like Dead Space, like the combat looks very high octane action. The trailer though was really pushed as like this sentimental one in a way that I'm like, okay, this girl's gonna die, right? Something's gonna happen in here for sure.
She can't.
Well, you never know. It definitely looks like they're gonna try to go for the tearjerkers on it. I'm definitely playing this one. This is a guarantee
Me too.
for me.
Yeah. Sleeper hit of the year, I think.
Oh, for sure. Oh yeah. I wish I'd gotten a chance to play it back in October. But everything I hear about it has been very, very good.
Uno, you are going to love it. Because the mechanics of like the puzzle solving before you actually shoot, I guarantee you're going to love the game. Yeah.
Well, we don't have to wait long. That's April 24th. And then, of course, the big Capcom game, Resident Evil Requiem, is coming out. They showed some of the first person, some of the third person. They showed some of the more story focused stuff. Actually, they showed a lot of story beats in this one, trailer, including a tease of returning back to the Raccoon City Police Department with Leon. This comes out at the end of the month. You're going to hear about it so much on this damn podcast.
The most iconic set piece in Resident Evil for me. The fact that they showed the RE2 police station. I don't know how they keep doing this. Every trailer, I'm like, okay, I've seen enough. Then they keep giving more stuff, and I keep getting more hyped. I can't believe this game is almost here. I'm so excited.
Yeah, and this one looks very action-packed. Like, it does look like looks like a middle ground between RE7 and RE4, which to me are my two favorite ones beyond RE2. So, yeah, very excited for this. They showed a remaster for Legacy of Kain Defiance, which is the final chapter of the Legacy of games that is coming out on both PS4 and PS5 on March 3rd. I haven't played a Legacy of Kain game since the initial two, I think, came out. Maybe I'll jump back into this. I know a lot of people are really excited for this one.
Yeah, a lot of people are very excited about it. So unfortunately, I have such little experience with these games, and people speak so highly of them that I'm like, man, I should go back and play them. But now that we're getting all these remasters, no excuse. I definitely got to give them a go. This is awesome news for Legacy of Kain fans.
Dead or Alive also showed up, including they talked about their latest update to the last Dead or Alive game called Dead or Alive 6 Last Rounds. That has like a photo mode, more visuals, and a free-to-play version that you could jump into if you'd wish. But they also announced that they are making a brand new Dead or Alive project that'll be in collaboration with the 30th anniversary. And they showed Ryu Hayabusa, which is the main character of those games, facing an unnamed female character that has not been unveiled. So a brand new game is in the works. When we'll find out more about it, I'm sure later in the year, because they still need to drop that update to Dead or Alive 6 that comes out in June. This one is super exciting to me, but they showed a bunch of Control Resonant, the sequel to Control. This one looks like an open world game now. And it really feels, I mean, this one trailer definitely feels like Control as far as like aesthetics and stuff, but it really did seem like that one scene in Inception where all the buildings fold over on each other. There's some really cool stuff that they showed in this, including a lot of cool boss battles. I'm very excited for it.
Yeah, me too. Again, the vibe of this game looks incredible, but the two things I wanted to point out is that whole ability to where you change like what the floor is,
yes,
and then it changes your perspective was so trippy, but so cool. And also, man, the boss designs in this game look so cool.
Yes.
One of the earliest bosses we saw was that like half face or whatever that just it looked so crazy and so out there, and I love it so much. I'm so excited to see what the rest of this art style and enemies and bosses is going to look like. Yeah, this got me hyped.
Yeah, and I love Remedy, and then I'm very interested to seeing what the lore behind this is too, because that's my favorite part of Control. On top of like all the weird aesthetics, was just like reading the lore and kind of figure out that world. Cannot wait to explore more of it. We didn't get a date, but we did get to see a lot of new stuff. There's a slew of third-person action games.
Yeah.
Here we go. I'm going to go through a lot of them. This one's from first-time debut from Probably Monsters. This one's called Crimson Moon, which I don't think we saw before, but it's a third-person action game. It had a very monochrome color scheme. They kept showing these scenes completely donned in red and black. Then they showed one donned in blue. It's about like a half man, half angel fighting a bunch of demons. It's supposed to come out in 2026. It looked very cool. But it's definitely one of those third-person action games.
Very, very cool, and had like Doom-esque music.
Oh
as
yeah,
well, the trailer,
the soundtrack. I thought for a second they were announcing a new Doom game,
right.
And it was like a third-person action game. I was like, this is cool. The music definitely sounds like Doom 2016. Then we saw the people from Pokemon. We saw this last month. Game Freak are making Beast of Reincarnation. Well, they showed a brand new trailer, which showed off a bunch of new gameplay, a bunch of story beats, and they confirmed that it comes out August 4th. We're playing a brand new Game Freak game in 2026. This looks great.
Yeah, it really does. It really, really does.
Now, to a slew of little indie games, we saw Rayman 30th Anniversary Edition is coming out. It includes 5 versions of the games and a interactive documentary, plus a brand new edition of the original adventure that launches on PlayStation now. It's out right now. By the time you see this podcast, it will have been out. I like the Rayman games. I would love to revisit them. Legends is an incredible game. That's the most recent one that came out.
Yeah.
I will be jumping into this at some point.
I love when games do this. They make it like a museum or like an art piece or a collection piece in a lot of ways. And Rayman was incredibly important in the PlayStation era. So yeah, very excited about this. Can't believe it's been 30 years of Rayman.
Meet of the Hollowers coming out. That's Yacht Club Games' next video game they made, Shovel Knight. There's going to be a PS5 exclusive demo that has been launched. You can play it right now. This game was originally supposed to come out in Halloween, and they pushed it back because of all the big game releases at the time. It looks like the release window will be spring of 2026. I'm very excited for this one.
Me too.
Looks great.
Yeah.
They announced a prologue to 2024's indie hit Neva called Neva Prologue that will be coming out February 19th. You need the original game to play the new prologue. They showed this like isometric ninja-based tactics attack game called Yako Shinobi Ops that will be coming out in 2027. It looks very cool. It kind of looks like Shinobi, but in like an isometric view.
Yeah, exactly.
Or Tenshu as well. Very similar as well. This one, the second I saw this, I was like, I'm sure Chugs will play this one. Montreal Montreal studio Krafton it makes a new project. It's a third-person action game that involves a dual-wielding warrior chicken, which by the way, the reveal of this was like 45 minutes of like essentially building up these bad guys and like building this world of like grotesque monsters and like villains, and then they don't tell you who the main character is until the reveal that it's just a giant chicken, which as soon as it happened, I was like, I'm playing this game. This is great.
Dude, this exactly what I'm so glad you brought that up, because like the whole like slow build setup to it was so cool. But seriously, like being completely honest, I can't wait to play this game,
Me
Project
too.
Windless. The combat looked incredible. There were so many enemies on screen, and this giant buff chicken is just ripping people to shreds. It legit looks so sick. If you've not seen this trailer, look at it and tell me that you don't want to play this game, because it looks amazing.
It looked like a weird mix between kind of Neo in like boss combat style, but then it was like in between boss battles, it was like Dynasty Warriors, where he's just mowing through fields of people. This looks fascinating. I'm very. We have no date on it, but Project Windless has my attention. We were sold on the chicken right away. We already knew this was coming out. Star Wars Galactic Racer. It was announced at the Game Awards 2025. Well, we got to see more of the racing, including some cutscenes, a bit of gameplay, some of the racers as well. Just a further trailer. No date though. That's out there. We did get to see the latest trailer though of 007 First Light. That is the people who made Hitman. They are making a James Bond origin story video game. I was already sold on this. This trailer looks incredible too. They showed a lot of locations in this one, and it looks so very varied. Much like Hitman. Hitman has like, I can name tons of maps like Esperanza, so on and so forth. But they have so many different maps that have like creative kills and creative like approaches to how you could tackle the Hitman portions of it, that I'm very interested to see how the James Bond game is going to play.
Same, man. Yeah, the more I see of this game, the more excited I am. And this was my favorite trailer yet, exactly because of what you said, all the different environments. It's like, I feel like this is going to be such a great combo of action and racing and stealth. This is shaping up to be an all-timer as far as the 007 games, I think.
And with the amount of trailers they've dropped, they must feel very confident about it. That comes out May 27th. We don't have to wait very long for that one. This was a big one. We kind of knew this was going to happen because there was a tease of it. But finally, Konami, by the way, showed up on the stage this time. Great to know Konami's making video games again, because they're dropping the Metal Gear Solid Master Collection Volume 2. That comes out August 27th of this year. And you are getting the PSP Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker, which will be upscaled a little bit to play to current standards, as well, for the first time since the PS3, Metal Gear Solid 4 Guns of the Patriots, one of my favorite PS3 games. Actually, there are ones I prefer. One of my favorite PS3 games. First time port of the game since it came out in 2008. Very excited. It's got higher resolution visuals, some quality of life improvements, and supposedly there are actual content updates within the game. They have not talked about this stuff quite yet. Very excited to jump back into MGS4.
Yeah, this is huge. Once again, Metal Gear Solid 4 was just locked on the PlayStation 3 for years. So the fact now that a bunch of people get the chance to play this game, either replay it or play it for the first time, it's great. I do love that they added the high-res update to Metal Gear Solid Collection Volume 1 as well. This is, man, if you're a Metal Gear fan, you can have so much from this franchise now on modern consoles, which is awesome. Can't wait for August 27th.
And then Konami dropped a couple other big ones. Darwin's Paradox, which looks like it's a very interesting game about an octopus, but it's a stealth puzzle platformer simultaneously that has a bunch of homages to Metal Gear Solid, including an entire level that is very much just MGS1. They dropped a demo already, and this game will be coming out later in this year. This looks cute and fun. I kind of want to play it, and I'm very fascinated to see like Konami drop new games as well. So looking forward to Darwin's Paradox. And this one, before we move forward, there's some big announcements. This is the one that I was like, oh my God, I can't believe we're getting this. After years and years of us wanting this, a new 2D Castlevania game is coming out called Belmont's Curse. Incredible visual aesthetics, by the way. They showed a bunch of combat. It's developed by the people that made Dead Cells, so you know it's going to be freaking good. And it launches this year. I am so excited for a new Castlevania game. It feels like they've been teasing us with all these collections, and we've been getting all of this anime stuff and all these superficial Castlevania projects to know that there's a brand new Castlevania the way you want it. Mwah! Very excited.
Yeah, this is incredible news. This was one of the highlights for me from the entire state of play. This is Castlevania with another Metroidvania. There's a reason they're called Metroidvanias. So can't wait for Castlevania Belmont's Curse. Can't wait.
And then finally, right after, or not finally, there's actually quite a few things left. But right after this, they dropped Silent Hill Townfall, which I thought was a brand new announcement, but I guess was teased previously. But it is a brand new iteration of Silent Hill in collaboration with Annapurna Interactive, so it's going to have very big narrative focus. And they showed a ton of content for it. It comes out this year. It's first person. You got the C part of the maps. You got the C part of the characters. There's weapons. They showed a gun being shot in first person, which is very unlike Silent Hill. I'm very curious to see what this will be, and I'm sure we will see more about it. Plus, they also did their own little direct on there. We'll talk about that. Well, actually, if you want, Chugs, you got to watch all 30 minutes of that. Did they give us any further details on the game?
Yeah. So no, and I know we'll keep moving to make sure to get through everything as well. But I did get the chance to watch that after the state of play. It was a great showcase for this game. Really, they kind of explained the environment, the setting. The setting is based off a town in Scotland, and it's actually like almost a one-to-one recreation lots of times that you got to see from this environment. And that area can be really foggy. So the development team went there and kind of looked at the areas. Again, there's the classic melee weapons like the wooden board, the steel pipe. Of course, there's the gun as well. But I think the most important thing here, in addition to the music being so Silent Hill, like right away, you're like, oh, this is a Silent Hill game. Yeah. But this team is so passionate about Silent Hill, the franchise, and like how important the stories that they tell within those games are. And you can tell that they've just completely sunk their teeth into what Silent Hill is all about and want to make their own original story from it. Because that's what I love about Silent Hill. Like Silent Hill 2 is incredible, but Silent Hill F is also incredible. And they're two very different stories, but they still feel like Silent Hill games. So I'm excited that this is going to be its own separate new thing, but still telling a story the way that you would in Silent Hill. Very, very great showcase. I am so excited for Townfall.
Yeah, Konami came swinging with all these, and then of course they also dropped another one that is a anime-infused RPG game called Rev Noir. Has very cool aesthetics. Definitely looks to have like a world or like simulated world concept, because at the very initial part, we're obviously playing with the idea that the world was glitching and that your character was seeing past like the veil of truth, and then restarts and it goes into like this fantasy RPG. Very interested in it, especially because Konami came swinging with a lot of video games, and this was their final one they showed. Would love to know more about it, but you got to see some of the characters and some of the locations from Rev Noir. More will be revealed in the future, and I believe this is a 2027 game. Yeah. Then everything onwards is a heavy hitter, including the ones we mentioned. But they dropped there is a new third-person action video game, and it's John Wick.
Let's go, dude.
Quite literally, Keanu Reeves fights a bunch of guys, shoots a bunch of dudes, punches a dude in the face, throws them over judo style. They even get the front-facing camera on him. He does his trademark "yeah" line. I don't know what the actual gameplay of this looks like, but I'm in. I love the John Wick series. I remember when I played Sifu, that martial arts parrying game, that I was like, man, they should make a John Wick game of this. Is that what this is? I don't know, but I'll tell you what, I'm in. I'm in.
Yeah, Uno, I just recently, and this is embarrassing to say, but I just recently watched all the John Wick movies, like within the past 12 months. Mm-hmm. And when I was done watching those movies, I'm like, man, a brand new John Wick game with like modern hardware would be so cool. So I was hyped through the roof that they announced this. It seems like, like you said, I'll be curious to see what the gameplay is like, but the trailer nailed it.
Oh yeah, big time. And you can see like it has the trademark combat style in there. I cannot wait to see like how in action that feels. Then they showed Bungie's new game, Marathon, which we knew about, but a brand new trailer just dropped. That comes out March 5th, but they also did announce a weekend preview that will be called Server Slam on February 26th to March 2nd. They in this trailer, they showed a new gameplay, new gunplay, so all kinds of different weapons, and the actual story of what Marathon is. They started teasing in there as well. It looks, as someone who didn't really gravitate towards Destiny, this looks so much more colorful and lively than Destiny, even though it does seem to be more about robotics and stuff. But just the aesthetic of it seems... I never once cared for Marathon until this one trailer, and then I was like, oh, is this for me? Because this seems weird, wacky, but then also like with some gripping lore behind it too.
Dude, Uno, real quick, you just said exactly what I was thinking. Like, it wasn't like I was excited for Marathon because I knew people were excited for the game, but it wasn't like something I couldn't keep my eyes off of until this trailer. Mm-hmm. This trailer finally got me to go, I got to play Marathon the second that game comes out. The gunplay looks crispy, but yeah, the story looks really interesting too. So mission accomplished on this trailer. I can't wait to play Marathon.
You just sold me a copy. March 5th, I will be buying that as well.
Yeah.
They showed Saros. That is the Housemarque's third-person action shooter, sort of sequel to Returnal, not exactly, but it has very similar bullet hell mechanics in third person. It looks cool. They showed a lot of like the back-end mechanics, like the progression system and some of the abilities. This comes out April 30th. That's a guaranteed day one for me as well. And they seem to really want this to work because they've showed this game a lot, and every time they've showed it, it looks pretty damn cool.
Oh, yeah.
We knew about this game, Marvel Tōkon, Fighting Souls, but to see it in action now, I might play this too. August 6th, they showed a brand new trailer that included a announcement of new characters. They had previously confirmed Storm, but they also just added 3 new X-Men: Magic, Wolverine, and Danger. Danger is the Danger Room, but as a character, made their debuts. They showed all kinds of actions in it. I will just say, as someone who played a lot of Marvel vs. Capcom 2, watching their version of Wolverine, I was like, they got it. They figured out exactly what I want out of this game. It looks... I'm not big of a fighting game guy, but this looks so good.
Yeah, really, really fun. Really fun.
And then the very end of Sony, they dropped a double shot of heavy hitter announcements. They got the original Kratos voice actor, T.C. Carson, I believe was his name. They just announced a God of War trilogy remake. Full remake of the original trilogy. And they brought back the original voice actor for it. It's going to be a while, I think, before we see anything of that. They've even said so. This was just a title screen. But fascinating that Santa Monica is going to be doing this, because that is a hell of an endeavor, because those games are riddled with things that I do not know would fit in 2026.
Right. No, this was incredible news. There's a lot of people, like, I love the modern God of War games. They're like some of the best games, but so many people love that original trilogy. So the fact that they're remaking this and with the same voice actor, it'll be interesting to see what they do in the remake. But I'll tell you what, I'm going to line up and be there day one. This was incredible news. I didn't see this coming at all.
Me too. And then I didn't see this one coming either, because they did a shadow drop of a God of War game called Sons of Sparta. They made, alongside Megacat Studios, a pixel art Metroidvania God of War game. Same day drop. We love a shadow drop. I purchased it. It's already downloaded on my console. I did not get to play it, but I'm very excited to jump into this. It looks cool. I thought it was the people that made Blasphemous at first. Because the art style is so nice and crispy. Very exciting news, and especially exciting that they did a shadow drop at the very end of their thing. But an incredible 1 hour of stuff.
Absolutely. I'll tell you, the Xbox Developer Direct, the Nintendo Direct Partner Showcase, both of those were really, really good shows. This State of Play was out of this world. Yeah, absolutely out of this world.
Seriously, so much content out of that 1 hour. A bunch of new games to look forward to, and a lot of new details. There's one more news piece I want to hit before we get into our last segment, and that is, I had talked recently about jumping back into Diablo 2 Remake. Well, out of nowhere, they just announced a Diablo 2 Remake DLC. out of the blue, for both Diablo and Diablo 2 Resurrected, they're adding a new piece of content. The first one in 25 years. It's a new character class called Reign of the Warlock. You get to play as the Warlock in Diablo 2. It's effectively there will be 2 different versions of the video game to include this DLC. But on top of that, they also updated Diablo 4 with a bunch of new stuff, a fishing mechanic. There'll be a complete skill tree overhaul. There's a new end game pursuit called War Plans, which is a completely separate way of navigating the end of the video game. They essentially evolve the adventure mode that they currently have. There's some hyper rare events that they're adding called Echoing Hatred. And they're even bringing the Heraldric Cube back for Diablo 4. If any of that doesn't make sense to you, those are all kind of very centric to Diablo fans. But Lord of Hatred launches 28th of April on PC for Diablo 4. And the new stuff for Diablo 2 is already out. Same day drop as the announcement as well. Super exciting stuff if you're a Blizzard and Diablo fan. And of course, they're also putting things into Diablo Immortal. But I'll tell you right now, I don't play that one, and so I do not understand anything about it. But yes, so that is it for this week. A bunch of news this week. What a week for us, because we got all kinds of game announcements. But our podcast is not done, because our favorite segment of the show, the Arcade Mailbag, is coming to you right after this. And we're back. It is finally time for our favorite segment of the show. That is the fan mailbag, the Arcade Mailbag, brought to you by our good friends at upperdeck.com. As always, Upper Deck sends us all kinds of cards to unpack. Just recently, we've gotten the metal. We've got the new SP pack. We actually have a metal pack right now that we would like to open up. Metal is one of our very favorite packs that we've had here on the show. What do we have today, Chugs?
I do. I love these packs. There's so many cool ones, but I love these metal packs.
We got a brand new Emmy. You can see as she shines through. Anna J. There is a trios card of this is Christian Cage, Nick Wayne, and Kill Switch. Another double Anna J. Two different
Anna J. What a pack!
Two different Anna J's, and they're 2 different Christian Cage in a single pack. There's Isaiah Cassie, who just came back. And of course, that loops it all through. You can see there those reflections. Go see on our video, youtube.com/awgames. That is where you can see the visual for our podcast. But some very nice shiny cards. Plus, that's not all, because AWC SP Signature Edition is here, featuring Mercedes Monet, Orange Cassidy, Kenny Omega, and many more, and it is packed with rare hits, stunning parallels, and collector heat. This set delivers the energy of the ring straight to your hands. It is available now at your local hobby shop. Check the link in our show notes to find one near you, and don't miss the poll of the year. Thank you, Upper Deck, as always. We've got 2 questions today. Chugs, who do we got?
Yes, 2 questions, starting off with a question from Austin. Austin, thank you for the question. Austin says, hey guys, in your opinion, what is the best ending in a game ever? What a great question. The ending or endings in Expedition 33 takes the cake for me, but in that same tier, I would also include Final Fantasy X and The Last of Us Part 2. FF10 was the game that I played in the franchise and turned me into a lifelong Final Fantasy fan. I don't want to spoil the ending, but it still gets me emotional. Austin, this is such a great question, and I agree with you on those endings, but I'm also glad that you brought up Final Fantasy, because for me personally, recently, and this just encompasses my entire life of being a video game fan and a Final Fantasy VII fan, but big spoilers for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, because I feel like I can't explain it unless I talk about it. So again, this is spoilers to Final Fantasy VII Rebirth and the original Final Fantasy VII.
Yes.
The ending of Rebirth being the moment that Aerith dies, and it's a heart-wrenching scene. And I remember thinking, how are the devs going to recreate that feeling of emotion, especially because a lot of people are thinking this is what's going to happen. First and foremost, the devs did an incredible job of making you second guess if Aerith was going to die. The fact that they were still able to tell the same story and get to the same finish line, but still had me and so many other people questioning, with Cloud stopping Sephiroth and throwing the sword away for a second, but then realizing that Sephiroth still did it anyway. But also the last boss stretch of you fighting Genova and the sad Aerith music is playing, makes me cry every time. But then also there were so many big things that happened at the end of that game that I thought they were going to save for part 3, which still makes me so excited for part 3, because I'm like, how the heck are they going to end this thing? The point where Cloud and Zack are fighting alongside each other against Sephiroth gave me chills. The very end of Cloud and Aerith fighting against Sephiroth was just so... I had so many emotions going through my body thinking about how much I love FF7 and all those characters, and to see the way that they wrapped up part 2, I just absolutely love what they've been doing with the remake project. But yeah, spoilers over, just in case. So yeah, that to me, that ending will live with me forever. I could go on and on about other incredible endings, like games like Red Dead Redemption 2, Halo 3. There's so many good ones. We could do a whole episode on gaming endings.
Easily.
But yeah, that's my answer. I'm going to say FF7 remake, or Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth. Yeah.
On my side, I'm about to also spoil some stuff, because I don't think that you could talk about an ending of a game without like really giving the weight of it. The first one that came into my mind on one of these games is called Outer Wilds. This is a game that was my game of the year, I think 4 years, maybe 5 years ago. And essentially Outer Wilds, you start on a planet, you're on a very small planet, and you are learning to operate a spaceship to fly off the planet. What you don't know at the very beginning of the game is actually what ends up playing towards the very end of the game. But once you finally get off that planet, it is up to you to discover the other planets around and decipher the information that's on there. To essentially, every different planet has its own puzzle to solve to get further into it. And as you get further into it, you start learning more and more about the game and why you are there. And what happens in that game is every 22 minutes you die, and you restart at the very beginning of the game. And what is very fascinating is you're trying to understand why you were stuck in this time loop, why you keep dying 22 minutes in, and you start finding characters within the game who are also aware that they're stuck in the loop, and there are very few of them. Ultimately, the ending of this game is that you realize you were stuck in a time loop because a star went supernova, and essentially the world, the universe as you know it, is imploded and is dying, and which means that you are stuck in a time loop because someone was capable of getting to the moment before and restarting those 22 minutes to try and find a solution. And when you get to the end of this game, you realize there is no solution to the end of the world, and you just have to accept it alongside the other 6 people that you meet through the game. And the final moment is just all of your characters around this bonfire playing a song together as the star slowly, well, not slowly, but essentially explodes from afar, and you're engulfed by the flames, and the game ends. It's an incredible moment. It's a very, and also, while it is quite sad, it does have like, to me, I feel like chills when I think about the very ending. The way to get there is such a fun experience, and it is such an interesting experience to slowly piece that together on your own accord. And there's also ways that you could make the star explode earlier. There's all kinds of really weird things you could do with that game, but that ending especially is one that's going to stick with me for a very, very long time.
Yeah. Great choice. All right. Last but not least, we have a question from Gavin. Gavin says, "Hey, Chugs and Uno, love the show. Thank you. I need some advice for my 11-year-old son. He's taking a big interest in my old NES and SNES, but we played the Mario games to death. I want to go out and buy a few games to surprise him. What are the best non-Mario games for those consoles that hold up well today?" That is an awesome question. First of all, I think it's amazing that your 11-year-old son is playing NES and SNES because they're just two of the greatest video game consoles ever. I guess very quickly, the one recommendation that jumps into my head immediately would be Donkey Kong Country 1, 2, and 3.
Yes.
There's some of the best platformers that still hold up today that I think he would absolutely love. If he's looking for more of an adventure, I think Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past is a good option as well on the SNES. So I know you said no Mario game, but I'm not sure if you've played this one. So Super Mario Legend of the Seven Stars, is like the turn-based Mario RPG that recently got remade, actually. It is so charming. It's filled with so much life, unforgettable music, unforgettable characters. I know that is Mario, so that's not really, I guess, should be included. But that's such a different Mario game that I thought maybe you guys haven't played that one yet. But yeah, those are a couple answers there for SNES for me, and for NES, I'm going to say Tecmo Bowl. That's a fun.
Ooh, that
Tecmo
is
Bowl
yes.
On the NES is a fun football game. That is a fun one.
I have to agree with you. Donkey Kong would be my first one to advertise for sure. On the NES side, and he's 11-year-old, so I think that's part of my evaluation here. But DuckTales is a very good one. Yes. A lot of the Mickey Mouse games on the NES are very fun to play as well. My favorite to go revisit, other than the Donkey Kong games on Super NES, is Earthbound. I think that's like baby's first RPG, so I think that is a perfect time for an 11-year-old playing Earthbound. I think would be incredible. And then there's just a lot of stuff that not that this is one of the main ones that you should play, but like Booger Man is great on SNES. Yes. You've got Joe and Mac is really fun. Teenage Mutant Turtles in Time is incredible, as well as the NES arcade game. I would advise all of those. Those are a good time for both NES and Super NES, and age appropriate.
Yeah. Yes. Exactly. That's a good point. Uno, you're making me want to go back and play those games now. Those games.
I would play some TMNT right now. Absolutely.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Austin and Gavin, thank you both very, very much for the questions. Very much appreciated. Once again, the community mailbag is me and Uno's favorite segment of the show, but also one of our favorite segments of the show is the producer quiz. So I am now going to reveal what the correct answers were.
Oh yeah, let me scroll down here.
No.
Okay.
Question one.
Okay. Go on.
Before the Sega Genesis launched in the United States in 1989, approximately what percentage of the U.S. home console market was controlled by Nintendo? I said C, 85%. Uno said D, 93%. And of course, 93% is the correct answer. I should have picked the same one as you. 93%. Before the Genesis debuted, Nintendo effectively owned the U.S. console market with a 93% share. Within 2 years, Sega had taken 55% of the 16-bit generation market, thanks to a 1-year head start, a lower entry price, and anchoring the system around Sonic the Hedgehog. Yes. So once again, Nintendo was just in complete control of video games at that point.
Dominance at that point. Crazy.
Yeah. Question 2. Before Sony partnered with Philips, the original PlayStation was being developed as a CD add-on for which company? Me and Uno both guessed Nintendo. That is the correct answer. In the early 90s, Sony was building a CD-ROM add-on for the Super Nintendo called the PlayStation. But at the 1991 Consumer Electronics Show, Nintendo publicly announced a partnership with Philips, instead blindsiding Sony. Rather than walk away, Sony turned that abandoned add-on into its own standalone console. That decision directly led to the creation of the PlayStation. So there we go. That is, and the last question is, the Nintendo Entertainment System launched in the US on October 18th, 1985. What were the launch day titles? There are way more titles here.
Yeah, I did not realize there are 17 games that came out in North America on launch date.
Yeah, 17 games launched on the NES in North America. And those 17 games are 10-Yard Fight, Baseball, Clue Clue Land, Duck Hunt, Excite Bike, Golf, Gyromite, Hogan's Alley, Ice Climber, Kung Fu, Pinball, Soccer, Stack Up, Super Mario Bros, Tennis, Wild Gunman, and Wrecking Crew. 17 titles. Uno, I think you're the winner.
I think I am. Not only did I get the first question, but I etched you by one single game. You had Duck Hunt, Ice Climbers, Super Mario Brothers, and then you added Soccer. You were correct on that. But I had Clue Land and Golf on top of you, so that makes it one more than you.
Uno, GG's, by the way. But you know what? I'm kind of so glad that you said that, because it makes me realize I would have lost no matter what, even if I would have gone with 93%. So you absolutely win fair and square.
Yeah, I
absolutely
just
win fair and square.
And I'll be honest, there are a lot more games on here. Like I don't know what 10-yard fight is. I completely forgot about Gyromite and Stack Up. And then
Excite Bike, I feel like I should have got
that is one I should have known for sure, as well as Hogan's Alley. I knew that was like the launch shooting game other than Duck Hunt. But there you have it. One more week of the producer's quiz, and I walk away with one more point. That's 5-2 for good old Evil Uno.
5-2. GG's, Uno. GG's.
Thank you very much for everyone who has listened to our podcast. Do remember, every single Tuesday is when our podcast comes for your ears, but also for your eyes. YouTube.com/AWGames. That is where you find the video format on Tuesdays at noon Eastern Standard Time. If you subscribe, you also get access to MXM's show that drops on Thursday. We're all on Twitch, twitch.tv/AWGames. That's where we play video games at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But myself and the Chugs are both on Twitch as well. Twitch.tv/EvilUno for myself. Twitch.tv/the Chugs. If you want to see him fight Simon, you got 2 weeks to do so. After that, it's Resident Evil almost all the way through. If you want your questions answered by us, you can go to tbs.com/arcade mailbag. We pick 2 or 3 every single week. We appreciate you all. We are just rolling forward towards episode 100. We're only a few weeks away. Of course, we appreciate you listening. We will be back to talk more video games because they never stop coming out. So we'll see you next Tuesday. Have a nice day. Have a nice evening. Have a good night. Bye-bye.